The following is an MSNBC special presentation.
Queremos un mundo sin fronteras. Queremos paz. Minutemen, KKK.
What border? There is no border between the United States and Mexico anymore.
It is the line that defines the boundary of the United States of America. Eisenhower said, "A country without a border is not a country."
You put up a fence in your yard and you want to keep out dogs or neighbors or criminals or whatever. The whole country is our yard, and they are jumping the fence and coming in.
You trust us with your kids, you trust us with your houses, you trust us with picking your food and serving your food. Why don't you trust us as far as treating us like human beings and with dignity? That's the question.
Crossing the line, the battle at America's border. Here's Lester Holt.
Every day, thousands of people sneak across our southern border. Drawn by the promise of work, more than 10 million illegal immigrants now live in the shadows of the United States. And for the first time in history, more illegal than legal immigrants are entering the country. In 2005, the governors of Arizona and New Mexico declared a state of emergency along their borders. And a controversial group called the Minutemen rose up to try to stop illegal crossers, igniting tensions on both sides of the border. On one side are the people who say they simply want the government to enforce its own laws. On the other, those who say migrants come here to do the jobs Americans won't. We'll meet them all and the desperate people caught in the middle.
April 1st, 2005, Tombstone, Arizona. I am sitting here looking out over a serene valley surrounded by some low-lying mountains to the northeast. Somewhere out here, our quarry awaits. It is good to feel the sun on my face while the morning chill is still fresh on my skin. It is cold out here in the desert at night. I have a sense that we might make history.
This is called the Minuteman Workout.
Among the hundreds who joined the Minutemen for their first patrol in Arizona was Tim Donnelly, a salesman from Twin Peaks, California. In the spirit of the colonial-era militia, they took up posts along the Mexican border to try to stop illegal crossers. They created a stir that reached all the way to the White House.
I'm against vigilantes in the United States of America. I'm for enforcing law in a rational way. That's why we've got a border patrol, and they ought to be in charge of enforcing the border.
You take the E off vigilante and you have vigilant. And right after 9/11 in November of 2001, he asked us to be vigilant. And what are we doing except being vigilant?
The Minutemen do have some political support.
We are not saying that, yes, we endorse that the Minutemen should do the job. And we are saying that the federal government should do the job. But if the federal government falls short of doing their job and fulfill their responsibility and the promise to the people, then the average citizen will rise up and will do their job.
The only time you're going to pull that weapon out is if you're in imminent danger. That is how we've survived this long.
The Minutemen have gathered again in Arizona to train for their biggest watch yet. Around-the-clock, month-long stakeout on all U.S. border states.
You know, I just had 3 people walk through this culvert underneath me. They are heading south. Tim!
Tim's here. Tim is here.
Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you.
Something changed in me after I went down to the Minuteman Project.
Like, who's the new guy?
Yeah.
I walked down the street in Tombstone, and I had my sidearm on me, and I was within my rights to carry that gun. And I realized something we've forgotten as Americans, which is we're in charge of our destiny. Our goal is to change the way the world looks at our border. And all we're asking for, it's a very radical idea, is that the law be enforced.
Well, you know, they say a good general picks his battlefields. And I thought about this. And this is a good battlefield.
Glenn Spencer founded a watch group in Arizona called American Border Patrol. He's a pilot who uses aerial surveillance technology to track illegal crossers and drug smugglers.
This is the San Pedro River, one of the most frequently used smuggling routes.
Mexico is an experiment that is failing, but we can't allow it to fail here.
Civilian patrols like Glenn's have been accused of inciting hatred due to their controversial beliefs.
The typical illegal alien is coming across the border has a third-grade education. Half of them drop out of high school once they get here. No, it's bad. This is really hurting California financially and in every other way.
Glenn is part of a wave of Californians who came to patrol Arizona in the mid-1990s, just as human and drug smuggling was on the rise.
I was born in L.A., raised in Hollywood. It was an idyllic place. The school system, one of the finest in the country 30 to 40 years ago. It's now the worst. Hospitals are a disaster. But illegal immigration, in my judgment, has essentially destroyed California. Destroyed it.
The Minutemen appointed Tim to lead the California Patrol on their nationwide watch.
I made a decision that I would give my life to my country. I would give my life to this cause.
Tim's learning the ropes from the original Arizona Minutemen.
Did you make a sighting?
Yeah. Don't worry.
On the night patrol, he meets John and Margaret Waite, also volunteers from California. They've just seen a group of border crossers.
I stood up and looked, and all of a sudden you see these black figures running. I've never seen anybody run so low.
So we called Border Patrol, gave them coordinates, and they've got ground troops out there looking. And we are being invaded. Put a stop to it. That simple.
Let's walk on through this real quick. You didn't get to see this.
Every year, nearly 1 million Mexicans are caught illegally entering the United States. Even facing deportation or death, most will keep trying until they make it across. And 9 out of 10 eventually do.
And you can tell by the way their tracks are situated, they probably chilled down in here for a little while, took a break.
Estas huellas son de gente. Gente cruzó por aquí.
For Enrique Morones, the footprints aren't the tracks of criminals, but those of men and women searching for a better life. Enrique has been battling the Minutemen since they first emerged.
La comida se la llevaron. Aquí había comida. Pastelitos se los llevaron, qué bueno.
Enrique created Border Angels, a humanitarian organization that leaves food and water for migrants making the treacherous journey through the California desert.
The people are usually walking at night. They usually grab the gallon or a few gallons and keep on walking, and then they find a place where they can rest and feel safe.
The journey north is marked by peril. More than 400 men, women, and children died in 2005 from starvation, dehydration, or foul play.
We have found stations with bullet shells next to them. We have found stations that have puncture wounds like from a knife. Was it Minutemen? Was it just hate, people full of hate? Who knows? And but it's a sad situation. We're trying to save somebody's life.
Just a few miles down the road, Donna Tisdale is all too familiar with the consequences of living with illegal crossers.
I would say that my neighborhood is a quiet rural neighborhood. In the past, we didn't lock our doors.
The Mexican border is only 1.5 miles from Donna's ranch. So many migrants were vandalizing and trespassing on her land that she started hiding outside with her video camera.
Today is May 13th, 1997. Gone over the fences, up to our gates, to our field. We've had apprehensions made right here in the yard. We've had helicopters at treetop level with the lights on. I now carry a gun when I go for a hike on the property, when I take my grandkids for a walk. We shouldn't have to do this. This shouldn't be part of our life in America today. This is like the Wild West. It's a total different life than what we used to enjoy. That's gone forever. I know it's gone forever.
Living under siege for more than a decade, Donna welcomed the Minutemen.
How can it be unpatriotic or politically incorrect to try and report criminal activity in a neighborhood like mine? What is wrong with that? So of course, my sympathies lie with those who come down to help us.
Coming up, in the remote mountains of Mexico, a migrant sets off on a risky journey to America.